I was supposed to put this on my community tab on the other channel, and I didn't. So, I'm just going to hang out here with the kitty and wait till people start to show up because, I didn't do my job properly. Did I, Summer? I didn't do my job properly. I know that's something that one supervillain always said. The one that just lost her baby. Pot girl. And actually need hands. Well, we still don't have nobody. Like I said, no one's expecting me because hello, one person. I don't have chat up where I can even see who you are because this thing just literally crawled in my lap. And I was telling no one that was here that I forgot to put on the tab that we were going to be here now. And I didn't quite remember it until after I hit engage. So, it's kind of, well, I guess I'll be sitting here petting the cat for a few minutes. All right, honey. Now, can I get the tablet over here so I can get the chat up? She says no. Can I please? I know. She's been sitting over here sleeping with her daughter. Please don't knock anything else off, please. Please. Summer, move! I love her butt. Oh shit, Nicolina went live. Oh well, it didn't matter. I still plan on doing it on this block anyway. Although I would like to see her live, but I guess I'll just catch that on replay. Hello, Ronnie. Well, one thing, since this is, I was wondering who that was on here. Well, you help me out, dude. That's going to help me with my taxes. Because that was something I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. Well, yeah, I mean, seriously, I kind of did mess things up because, like I said, the people that kind of need to be here aren't here because, didn't do my job right. And it was because of that Adrastia shit. I mean, she made me so mad. That was like one little thing that I needed to do that slipped my mind. But it gives you and I a nice chat, so, can be a positive also. We can take me forgetting and we can turn it into positive. In reality, I was going to go live about a half hour ago, but, I had to drop that Adrastia vid, and I thought that, see, the Boit is useful, and this is the time for the Boit to be the Boit. She wants to cry bully, then be a bully. Okay, we can do that. Now, once again, I can't do this on my channel, but you can appreciate my bluster. She's going to do one of these rich life across the countries. She's going to apologize, or we, the Boit, are going to knock her ass down. Oh, no, she was attacking Selah, so, she can say my name or not, I don't really care. Hello, Smelly. Oh, I'm glad to see you, Smelly. Like I was telling Ronnie, when I started the live, it's like, you know what I forgot? I forgot to link on the community tab and tell everyone I was going to be here at this moment. Then I'm like, well, I guess I'll just kind of sit around for a few minutes. Oh. So we're going to, my life has been hectic and I've not been 100% well. So, we're going to write up characters. We're just not going to get in any hurry. We're just going to play around, and when we're done, we're done. And like I said, silly ass me. But, I plan on trying to do like every Wednesday and Sunday, for a couple hours, get together. And, once all the characters are done, we're going to play. And I've got a bunch of work done on that. And I also remember I said towards the beginning of the year, I talked about Dungeons and Dragons, the original version. Well, because it takes so much preparation, the reason why I said the first of the year is because I have to prepare now. And so that's one thing I've been doing. Now, Smelly, have you ever played any version of Dungeons and Dragons? I don't think we've ever asked that. I know there's a little lag. Smelly. I guess she's packing a bowl. The only bad thing about small chats is when you ask a question, there's not really, mothers has their small talk that you can go by, but I'm just curious if she's ever played the game. Because the D&D is going to be open to the Champions characters. For the people that play Champions. And then after the first of the year, I'll probably have Champions, on the most of the time, and then like 1 week in a month, play a serious game of D&D. Well, I guess Smelly went to do something. She'll come back to us at some point, and I can answer the question, because, Ronnie, I had a really good presentation. Smelly, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? You gonna keep me in suspense? I guess she's gonna keep me in suspense. She must be in the middle of something, because she must only be half paying attention. Hello, Robert. No. Hello, Hagen. Well, we're going to have an interesting game of it come the first of the year, because the character setting is going to be my book world. And I thought of something cool. And I'll get to that here in just a moment. I was trying to get... Well, what I'm going to do is I have my wargaming channel. Well, what I'm going to do for our game is I am going to create on my big battle board a continental map. So when you want to go from place to place, you actually have a video that you can go to and show the representation of your game world. So what I'll do is I'll lay out the board, then I'll measure all the distances between the various places that possibly you could go to, put that all on a cheat sheet, for shorthand, and then you as a player will be able to go to that video, and you will have a video that's basically your world map. Well, Smelly, that's what this place is supposed to be. It's just when I created the channel, they did that 1,000 subscriber to live stream, because for this channel to work, it needs to be interactive. It's like I need to post a story every week, and then we talk about it. It's just, I thought right now that, kind of playing a game would be a fun way to break the ice. Well, I have first edition, and, we're going to, because, that I've never actually ran a game like this online, we're going to start Champions because it's simple, and then after some months, we're going to add a once a month D&D game in. And in reality, I might run games twice a week. I know for a while I'll probably run Champions twice a week, because last time it seemed there was a lot of people interested, and I kind of wanted to teach everyone in the beginning with like 4 in a group, or everyone watch how with the first group plays and how the game's played, and then it would be easier to make other groups. Well, Smiley, the fortunate thing is this is original D&D. So you get to forget everything that you ever learned. And you get to play D&D as Gary Gygax intended. Now, in original D&D, you do not have the myriad of races. You simply have humans, gnomes, dwarves, elves, halflings, or half-orcs. Those are your only player characters you're allowed. Now, like in D&D now, you can have about anything you can imagine. And in D&D, it had specific classes. Now, the really cool one that they cut out of other editions was the assassin. Oh, an assassin. He could only get to 15th level, but he had a chance of killing about anything in one shot if it was a humanoid. And in 2nd edition, they created the rogue class. 1st edition, there ain't no such thing as rogues. 1st edition has thieves. Flat out thieves. And you have the Thieves Guild. And the Assassins have the Assassins Guild. And in the Thieves Guild, you try to become the Guild Master. And the same in the Assassins Guild. And if you got 2 thieves guilds in the same town, you've got a thief war. Well, my game that I used to play mostly, we played evil people. And in all reality, evil is more fun. Just saying. Now, of course, that does open the fact of players plotting against players. But, that's what we got direct messages for. I was actually going to try to get a game book and start the whole character thing. And as I was talking, I was going to write up a character sheet. You see how well that worked? Well, I was a hell of a thief, too. Just saying. Now, my thief was funner than your thief. Also just saying. Because my thief was a half-orc thief. Yes, it was. And a half-orc thief has much more fun. Hello, Dad. Well, this is where you get interesting. When I rolled the character strength, I rolled maximum. And so that's where we, basically, that was considered a weird thing, because on the half-orc character in the 1st edition, half-orcs get a +1 to strength. So I had the strength of an ogre. So the Game Master decided that where a normal half-orc is part human, I was not half human, but I was half orc and I was half ogre. Okay, here we're playing a game. And I'm trying to get into game stuff as soon as my child gets all happy. Now my other chair, and we do the drama explaining. But here's my story channel, where we will tell stories, and I will attempt to write up characters as soon as this kid lets me live. Oh, I love her so much. You got your claws in me too. She still thinks she's tiny, and oh my God, she's getting to be a pain in the ass. Because she's still like that little kitten that just wants to sit on your knee all the time. And she still thinks she's that small. No, you want to go with your mother? Go sit with your mother. I would greatly approve. In fact, I'll give you money if you go over. She has no concept of money. But right now, I would pay you to sit with your mother. Just saying. See how well that worked? Oh, man. I can see this is going to be a constant problem on this channel. So, now fortunately, when it gets a little cooler, I'm going to be able to shut the door and keep them out. Oh, smelly she is. I mean, she's going to be 1 in a few days. And she still acts like the tiniest baby. Because I went back on my YouTube, on some of my saved videos in the cloud, and I found out she's a little bit older than I thought. I'd been telling everyone else she was born in October, and I found a video of born her on September 4th. So, like I say, she's due for her first birthday in a couple days. Can you go next to Mommy, honey? I know the fan's over there. Okay, move the fan if you want to get down over there. Go, honey. You could... No, not me. Over there. Apologies, everyone. I'll get to content as soon as... Now, the funny thing is, she wasn't doing this until I turned the live on. You know how she sees her mother all over me during lives? She's emulating her mother's behavior. Summer's just over there on the shelf washing. Oh yeah, she's in heat. Yep, she's in heat. Matter of fact, right now she's in heat. I learned that earlier this afternoon. And as soon as I found it, because they like to go into heat together, I said, oh my God, where's Summer? And then she came in here, so, I'm going to keep them away from the others, but I just hope they didn't get knocked up this afternoon. But yeah, she's in heat right this minute. But she's still just all baby to me. She doesn't understand what it is yet, because she's not had that many, just a couple. Now I'm completely lost on where I am. Okay, now Cat, we're going to write up some characters. But yes, I'm going to create an interactive map for Dungeons and Dragons, and I kind of plotted some of that out today. And Cat face, please. Well, I had a binder with some paper in it to create these characters with. I love my cats. Yeah, ow. Please. All right, where did it go? Where did you knock it off to? Well, I had paper to do this with. Okay, here it is. I'd set it, it was my bad. I had moved it. I guess out of her range. And I just didn't look a little bit higher than I was supposed to. Like I said, I set up everything to do this all around me. Because I'm finally getting to where I'm back to normal. Except I lost a whole bunch of muscles from starving. Now, honey, what do you do with pencils? I mean, God, I love you, but... See, pencils are round and they roll. And I had put a couple up here. And... Okay, there's one left. She's into everything, by the way. That's why I have this box. Now, you guys don't know it, but usually when I stream on the other channel, this is what you guys are propped on. When I do my normal streaming, yes, this is my prop. And as you can see, I mostly have dice in here. And we'll pull out 3 dice. And now, for you D&D enthusiasts, this is an amethyst gem. Yes. And this is aventurine. That it is. And this gem right here is a moonstone. This is a jump drive to put my book on. This goes on my spear I have to fix. And other than a few seashells, that's pretty much the contents of this. You know, for you guys coming here, I thought, you know, give you a little insight on the other channel. Yes, this is normally what the camera is held up on, but currently it's held up on a bunch of game books. And from looking at these on camera, these are the dice we're going to use for champions. You see how they're distinct, and they've got the real bright letters where everybody can easily see what the numbers are. So, you know, these are going to be our champions dice when we start our regular game. But this place is meant to be a diversion. You know, where we can have fun, we can talk, we can play games. You know, just like we would together. Now, one thing that I didn't get to tell everyone, when I wasn't feeling good, I thought, well, you know what? I can walk everyone through character creation. Probably smelly. Last night, I had to get back up out of bed and check around the house because I kind of smelled something like it was burning, and I was afraid it was an outlet, but it was just that smell coming from outside. Now, in this game, you have no dice needed to roll up a character. Now, you have characteristics and you have powers. Now, skills are considered a power. Now, each of the characteristics has a little bit different formula, or there's a few different ones. And we will go through them as soon as I get done writing them all down. And the characters may seem complex, but they're really not too much after you understand the system. And Smelly here wants to be a kitty cat person. Now, one thing that I kind of need while I'm doing this that I need you to figure out is, how did you get your powers? Because once again, your origin story will shape the universe. It's like in DC, you know, Superman basically is the reason Metropolis existed in the world. And Gotham is the same way. You know, if there was no Batman, there would have been no Gotham City in that world. Or in that game world, I should say. So, depending on what many of my players are picking in their background, there's going to be things that will get evolved from that. So yes, that's why I thought, you know, that's a good thing to think of while I'm doing this. Now, once again, being a kitty person, now a 20 on strength is what would be considered a maximum human strength. And you could lift about a motorcycle over your head in weight. Now, Smelly wants to be a kitty girl. And cats are stronger than humans, so I'm going to start our kitty girl off with a 25 strength, because that seems to be logical for the kind of creature that we are creating. Now, we unfortunately, starting out, we have to keep our power level low, and then you gain experience to get more power. Now, unfortunately, dexterity is expensive. Strength is 1 point per 1 point. But dexterity, because it's also bases your attack, it's 3 to 1. It is a much more expensive statistic. Now, because she is going to be super agile compared to everyone else, she's going to have an agility that will reflect that. Now, unfortunately, this is going to cost buku points. It's one of these owl things, but for this character, it needs to be done. So we are going to blow 60 points at 3 to 1. And that will give her a 30 dexterity. Now, this will reflect that she will have better attack rolls and defense rolls than most other characters. So she will hit most people at a plus, and then most people are going to hit her at a minus. Now, Constitution. Now, unfortunately, I'd like to put it higher, but because of the fact that we had to blow so much on Dexterity, we're going to put that at 25 too. I'd like to have that at 30. Now, Body is your hit points, but it also reflects in a way on how much mass you have. Now, a normal human being has 10 body, and I'm going to give your kitty girl 10 body. Although, later in your character's development, you might want to throw, and it costs 2 to 1. And later on in your future, you might want to throw 10 points at it, and say you bulked yourself up. Now, Intelligence. Now, this kind of depends on how you want to play your character. How smart do you want your kitty to be? Because if you were a scientist and got your powers, through some sort of lab accident, you would probably be kind of intelligent. Unless, for some reason, and also, like I say, you have to think how you want your kitty to be. Do you want to be the kitty all the time? Or do you want to turn into the kitty? That's also possible. Some of that will depend on how you get your powers. So that's why we're going to leave that off for the moment. Now, Presence is how intimidating you look. So we're going to give you a 10, because you're going to be a tough little kitty girl. Or add 10 to it, and it's a 1 for 1. Now, Comeliness is how pretty you are. And usually 10 is considered average, 20 is considered beautiful, and 30 is considered supermodel. But I know that you want to be adorably cute. So we are going to add 10 points to that, and it only costs a half of a point. So that will give you a 30 comeliness, so you're going to be the cutest kitty girl that ever was. Okay, that's cool, because then we go over here and add 20 points, shapeshift 1 form. That leaves 150, 130. Ew. Okay, so we have to do this. Because we're already going to... Remember I told you that a dexterity is a pain in the ass? I'm already having to cut corners. But once again, you can raise all of these statistics with experience points. And for the most part, they're straight to character points. Well, actually, they are. I mean, like if you have 5 experience points, it totals back into 5 more points on your character. So, 3 to 5 points in adventure doesn't sound a lot, but, you can raise attacks or get new skills fairly quickly with them. Well, the thing is I'm doing this for a different reason. Because there's going to be some character, some skills you're going to want to buy that are going to be comeliness based. And that's why it would be better to have that at higher. Now, you could be so ugly you're cute. But yes, but because of the way that... Because see, you get what you want. I mean, you can look however you want. It's just like I say for, game purposes and some of the stuff you're going to want in the future, they would get better rolls. Now, that will leave you with a physical defense of 15 and an ED of 15. That gives you a base speed of 4, and I added a 10. Like your speed is 5. I wanted your speed to be 6. But remember how I told you that we have to cut back in the beginning? So, that will be a stat that you will want to raise. And your recovery will be 10 points a turn. You will have 50 end. You will have 35 stun. Now, the end and the stun, like in reality, 5 points on the end would be nice. And, you'd kind of like to have like maybe 10 or 15 more stun. But once again, this is a beginning character. But, those are places because you're a very physical character. So, you will want to put a lot of your stuff towards your characteristics. I just have to know how smart do you want to be. Oh, and now one thing about when I do this, I will always be having to double check my math, so you'll have to excuse me of the pauses because I do have to check my work. Okay. Well, we will add you 15 intelligence, which is above average. So, 20 would be considered a genius, and, 30 would be considered Dr. Doom and Reed Richards smart. And your OCV and your DCV is 10. Your ECV, which is against mental attacks, will only be 3. But that's what most people's are. Gotta refigure this. 20, 30, 40, 50. Yep. Off by 5. I knew that looked weird. 170. So that leaves us 80 points. First, the kitty has to have claws. So that leaves me 65 points. Then we have to have stealth, breakfall, concealment, discriminatory smell, just a minute, I just heard something. I'm trying to figure if it was a kitty or if it was a human knock. I think it was a kitty. Well, I think it was a kitty knock. So it's 55 more points. Tracking scent. Super leap. Now, that will leave 20 points. Okay. Half in strength. I'm reducing the end cost of your strength. Remember how I said your endurance wasn't very high? That way, it won't cost you as much. Okay, that's it. We hit our limit. Okay, we have your basic abilities. You are fairly strong. Now, one thing that you will want to buy first is martial arts. Your character will want to gain basic fighting training, and that will be your first buy. And it will give you a very good hand-to-hand attack. Now, you do have claws, and you could easily rip a human being apart, to kind of understand. Right now, as it looks right now, you look very Wolverine without the healing ability. You can shape shift from human to kitty. You have your very impressive claws. You have stealth. You have breakfall, which means if you're falling from, when they fall, put it this way, your character could fall from space, and if you make your roll, somehow you're going to be alive. Concealment, if you want to stealth and conceal, like in the villain's lair, that's completely you can do. And you have discriminatory smell. So once again, you hear someone coming, you sniff the air, you make your roll, and if you know the person, you could tell who it is. Or you could tear the smell, like say gun oil. You can hear men and sniff and smell their gun oil, or the leather on their belts, or what they had for dinner that day. Now, tracking scent, with a roll of that, if you make your tracking scent roll, you can track human beings. And I also gave you 20 super leap, which, let me think, how would that figure into actual distance? You could jump about 60 feet. With your kitty leaping abilities. Yep, you can jump about 60 feet. And then I bought your strength at half end, so that way when you're doing hand attacks, it won't wear you out so quickly. And your character's done. It just needs a name, and we come up with your disadvantages. And since you can turn into human, you have a secret ID. That's worth 15. Distinctive features. Kitty girl. Now, I remember what you told me about your character. So your character gets a disadvantage, reputation. You're sketchy. And that's how I put it on your disadvantage sheet. Remember how you said you wanted your character to be? So, that's just where everyone else that's heard of you kind of knows you're kind of sketchy. Remember how I told you you can kind of work these things, some disadvantages into making your character the distinctive creature that you want. Now I'm trying to think of some. Now, sometimes a character will get a disadvantage called watched. And on an 11 or less in an adventure, you're watched by a kitty club. So you may have an adventure at some time, and there's some weird fan sitting in the distance, trying to, or somebody dressed up as you is a kitty girl trying to get a picture. Which, is kind of bad if you're fighting Dr. Dumbass at the time. So now, let me see, we got to have 150 points of disadvantages. Now, one thing that usually goes up a lot is hunted. Now, this is one disadvantage to where you can create your own nemesis. Do you want anybody to hunt you? It's like Superman has a hunted by Lex Luthor roll. Batman has a hunted by the Joker roll. So with this disadvantage, you can create your own nemesis. The Fantastic Four, all of them have hunted by Doctor Doom. The Avengers would all have hunted by Ultron. So, I'm going to give you a moment to allow you to think, because this is no hurry thing. One thing about, because that's why I thought, I was going to write them up through DM, but I thought, well, you know what? It would probably be best if I do it the way we're doing it here. And find my lighter. It might not be quick, but Well, see, this is where it's fun. There is no hurry to this. Now, once again, if I had a regular player, while I'm doing one thing, they would be basically letting you kind of know the ropes. So that's why we're just going to go through all this slow as we can and do everyone's character. Now, I didn't know Nicolina was going to go live, so the rest of them are probably over there. So it's a great time for me and you to get in depth with your character. Well, now typically, you could make a dog villain. You know, you're a cat person, you could make a dog villain. Now, is he a real dog, or is he just a guy in a dog battle suit? Now, you see, this is the thing with this kind of genre. I mean, you can go from the horror to the absolute fucking absurd. It really depends on what you want. Now, once again, now let me remember which one it was. Yes, in Marvel, Hellcat. She had a ex-husband that hunted her, and his name was Buzz, and he became a dog-based supervillain. You know, that was one case of the comic books of this case. Now, another thing that's a simple one is a rival. Like you say, there's another kitty girl hero like you. You know, the two characters can then, for points, be rivals of each other. You know, if you get someone like with a similar power set or a similar attitude, you know, you can get a rival disadvantage. And these are, like I say, we're just going over options because you really don't have that many points. But hunteds, they are really good big points. So, you know, that's one reason why I'm giving you the chance to create your character more. And once again, in this game, rather than roll dice, you get exactly what you want by using your advantages, your powers, your characteristics, and your disadvantages all together to become unique. You know what? Okay. Carlos the Jackal. There was a drug lord that's dead named that. So yes, how about that? Carlos the Jackal. Well, yes, he can be a big hunter. You know, he can go, rather than just that, he can be Carlos the Jackal, and he can have the big game hunter theme. Do you like that? Okay. Hunted by Carlos the Jackal. And he is your nemesis. I guess he wants your furry tail, man. He wants some furry boxers. And he was worth 30 points. And he is your Joker. And like I say, we're going to give him the old style, early 19th century, you know, before 1950 type hunter deal. You know, what they consider the Great White Hunter. And because of his demeanor and his betrayal, he's going to be known as the Jackal. So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 85. And that leaves us 65 points to come up with. Now, 20, 40, 55, and that would be 10. Now, once again, because of the way they do with psychological disadvantages, that means we have 3 psychological disadvantages, you know, things that make you, to come up with, and then we'll have to find 10 more points and disadvantages, which will be easy enough. Now, what do you want your mental disadvantages to be? Once again, it's like Wolverine has a no code versus killing. Batman has a code versus killing. And I only mention that because you got some pretty lethal claws. I mean, if you get a good hit, you can kill a human being in one swing. Remember how I said your attack roll is going to be so high and you get bonuses? If your bonuses reaches a 3, when the dice roll, 3 6-sided. 3 is double damage. Now, once again, your higher bonuses can achieve this 3 in double damage. So, I want to keep your understanding, because you don't just have scratchy claws. I mean, you got claws that can take apart robots. You have some really, really lethal shit. And later on, when we do some game examples, maybe not tonight, you will realize that. Because a normal human has 10 body, and it's 2 dice 6 plus 1. So just that roll of damage right there was 8 body out of human 10. Which basically means you just laid that guy completely open, and he's going to be, and if you just kick him, he's going to die. So yeah, that's kind of what because once again, you have picked kind of a lethal nemesis. Now, with your, oh shit. I couldn't afford acrobatics. Now, remember I said the martial arts? Martial arts and acrobatics are the 2 things that you're going to need first as a character. And if we had 50 more points, you would have them. Now, you did say you wanted to be an anti-hero. And that will be a psychological disadvantage. So, we are good, because I remember how you put your personality type, but we tried to slim it down, to the narrowest words that you can on the sheet. But, we kind of understand what is meant. So, we are going to put your first one down is antisocial recluse. Now, you'll have to think of 2 other idiosyncrasies in your personality. Like, if you're a cat person, are you playful? If you want to do things that might be considered off color, or in a dangerous situation have fun with it, you might want to pick playful as a disadvantage, because that's something that could actually get someone hurt. Just as an example. It depends on what you want your character to be like. How do you want to play your character? What is going to be the limitations of the way that you intend on playing this character? And then you develop a psychological disadvantage around that. But yeah, I was just going with a most likely. So we got playful. So you only need 1 more. Well, that would be great. Because annoying the other characters can always be fun. This is a group effort. And the whole goal is to have fun. And everyone's going to have fun at everyone's expense at one time or another. Now, one thing that might not be a bad idea is you to get a tie to someone or something. Something to make you go on, quote, the adventures. Because you have decided to make yourself an aloof individual. Now, okay. 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 I have your 10-pointer. A physical limitation. Intoxication from catnip. So we just need 1 psychological disadvantage and your character's done. Now, once again, with your playful nature and the fact that the supervillain can now hit you with the catnip ball, and that is your kryptonite. I mean, he could completely screw up the entire hero's plan if he's smart enough to hit you with a cat toy that's been in catnip. Just saying. You know, to kind of understand. Now, see, this is also the fun of it, because once again, like Superman, you have your kryptonite. Now, you're not invulnerable, but the thing is your kryptonite just makes you into a furry asshole with no direction. Now, that could be bad, because remember what I said you can do to a human being? Just saying. So, you know, that's something that could really come back and bite a villain in the butt. Literally. So, you know, just saying, you know, it kind of depends on what's going on, because, you know, cats have their stimulus. You know, you give that kitty catnip and you don't say anything other than good kitty, that could come back to bite you. But yes, we just have to think of one psychological quirk and your character's done other than the name. You write a spot down for experience. But yep, just one psychological disadvantage and it's all done. Well, no hurry. Well, I don't know if we want to addict her to catnip. I mean, you know, then we got like the Tony Stark angle. Could be funny in its own way. Hello, Pindar. Well, yeah, I saw Nicolina was live, and you know, we're just here creating characters, and we're almost done with Smelly, so I guess you're right on time. Smelly just needs one psychological disadvantage and a name. Did you get my message, Pindar? I asked you to send a text for me. Now, actually, with your character creation, I need a lot of talk with you. So, we'll go ahead and start your character sheet. Because a kitty girl is a common thing. Now, alien lizard people who are warriors, that's a whole different story. Oh, thank you very much, Pindar. Because in the morning, the fellow will be here with my meds then, and, you know, I'll get my ride to the dollar store, and we will stock up on extra kitty food. And I need bread. I was going to walk and get it today, but the cats wouldn't let me. They literally kept trying to follow me. Now, Pindar, today I looked through some things because now I explained to Smelly that things about your character creation is going to affect the entire world. It's like when they made up Superman, they created Metropolis with him. You know, when they made up Batman, they created Gotham with him. And once again, you know, they created Lex Luthor to specifically be Superman's nemesis, and the same with the Joker and Batman. Now, you, because you're from an alien world, you get an entire alien world background. And we will have to come up with that over time in gameplay, and I'm looking for a missing book. I'm trying not to knock you over while I'm doing it. But of course, I set everything on top of what I needed to show you. So let's try to not knock everything over. We'll just use that box we always normally use for our live stream and move that there. His here. Okay, that will work. Yes. The hero bestiary. Unfortunately in this, I have statistics for most animals and most fantasy stuff. Now, they also have greater and lesser dragons wrote up. And since you were a reptilian person, I thought about taking a lot of the reptilian monsters out of fantasy in this book and using it for your background world people. But that, once again, it all depends on what you want. Literally, your world is however you want it. It's just you and I have to talk about it and come up with it ahead of time, and then it can be used in gameplay as conceived. Well, you got time, Smiley. Now, I thought about some interesting scenarios for your first adventure, and in this book, I did find something that I think I'm going to use. They have movie monsters wrote up. So I thought to, kind of break the ice once we have a bunch of characters wrote up, that some of your first villains you're going to fight are going to be movie monsters. And I have a write-up here for King Kong. I have a write-up for the Blob. I have a write-up for fucking Godzilla. Now, once again, if I pull Godzilla out on you, I need chastised. Just saying. Now, Smelly, you're faster than Godzilla. Just saying. Now, unfortunately, remember those claws we told you about? Yeah, let me see. Actually, your claws ain't doing nothing to Godzilla, just saying. And he does have like this armor-piercing death breath that it wouldn't go well with. So like I said, I'm not going to start you off fighting Godzilla. Now, once again, when your characters are like you start off at 250 points. Like when your characters are like 400 points and there's a whole group of you, yeah. That would be actually a cool game. If it was an entire team of 400 point characters. So once again, once your character gets about 150 experience points, and everyone's team is, you'd be in the league for this. Now over here, they've got a write-up for a Predator, not Jimbo. I'm talking about Aliens and Predator. And on this one, they have the aliens, the Xenomorphs. They have all their write-ups. And right here, I have the write-up for Terminators in the game. And I thought that an interesting thing, since I'm starting out with a whole new group of players, this is going to be one of our adventures. We're going to do the Terminator thing, an homage. These hunter cyborgs are going to come back from the future and try to kill you. Because your super team just formed now. So at some time, you will meet the villain that will one day send back these robots to kill you. Well, see, Pindar, part of the thing, too, is I have to have a reason to pull you all together. I have to have the reason that you guys kind of, feel the need to be together. And this is one of my ways I'm going to come up with it as a game master. And once more, this is a way, too, to have fun. A common scenario that everyone understands is a wonderful icebreaker for a new group. So, this is where I'm just kind of letting you in on your interesting things, because every now and then, in your character's early development, one of these hunter cyborgs is going to pop up. Now, let me see. Now, for example, Smelly, you remember those claws that we told you about that can rip humans apart? Now, this thingy here, on your best shot, without double damage, you're not going to really damage him. You're just going to do the Terminator thing and rip off. But remember where I told you about the advantage, your advantage of your speed and your agility? If you hit him with double damage, you can do him serious damage, if not destroy. Well, let me see his body. Well, yeah, you could double damage, you would do serious damage to him. And once again, like on him, you would get a 3 bonus. So a 6 or less on a 3 6-sided dice, you would do a Terminator serious bodily damage. In fact, if you hit with 2 of these at double damage, you would destroy a Terminator. Because, see, this is a part of why I thought when I talked to you guys last, I thought, well, you know what? I'll help put everything in context if I just take extra time and write up the characters with everyone and other players listening. So, that gives you a context. On a regular hit, you are not going to stop or harm the Terminator. You're going to make the movie-like effects of, ripping off the flesh. But if you hit him with a double damage, you could seriously fuck him up on a good roll. In a couple of them, and he is destroyed. So, once again, your character may not seem to be as powerful to you at first, but, cops could shoot this guy all day. Now, the way this is wrote up, you remember in Terminator 2, the big scene with all the cops? With this right up here, it would have went down in Champions exactly like the movie. There's nothing they could do to this Terminator. Not a thing. And it could just sit there and pick at will. And its offenses is so higher. And +5 with all ranged attacks. Now see, this is a problem, Smelly. Remember I said you're normally faster? You'll get bonuses to hit him. But that son of a bitch can shoot so well, he's going to get a bonus to hit you. Not a big one, but he is going to get a bonus to shoot you. And you don't want shock. Just say it. Now, there is the dodge maneuver. Now, there are maneuvers that your character can perform. It's like the Terminator shoots. You want to take half a phase of your next attack and dodge. Just saying. Because you're not a bulletproof character. You're like Spider-Man. When it comes to the killies, you don't want hit. Now, once again, after you buy the other things that you want, you might want to buy regeneration, like Wolverine. And that is a typical thing that a claw person does like to have. So yes, you just need a name and one psychological disadvantage. Now, I'm going to go back to here and scroll on Pindar's sheet real quick and try to get it down. Lost my pencil. But Pindar, because you're having an alien race, you get to pick it all. In fact, I'll have to be talking to you a lot. Like little bullshit things about your character, because Champions is all about character customizing and getting exactly what you want. And also, at some time or another, after we're all done with the characters, I will actually write up your powers and stuff, and I will send them to you in a DM. So that way you can see your own power lists. Well, yeah. I mean, cats tend to... You can be distrustful. I mean, that's simple. You just have to play that. You'll have to make the other characters give you a good reason. So yeah, distrustful, that works fine. And you just now have to pick a name, and you're done. And I think Pindar already had a name picked. But Pindar, I think, is going to have the most exotic character. Okay, Roscoe Brinkman. Now, that's your secret identity. What do you want your super one to be? Now, first disadvantage already for Pindar is public ID. Because lizard people tend to have public IDs. Okay. You're allowed anything you want. P.U. Rottenbottom. Well, P.U. Rottenbottom is completely done. The first 250-point character. A 25 strength, a 30 dexterity, a 25 constitution, 10 body, 15 intelligence, 10 ego, 20 presence, 30 comeliness, 15 physical and energy defense, a speed of 5, a recovery of 10, 50 endurance, and 35 stun. Now, if you hit 0 stun, you are knocked unconscious. In every battle turn, you get a recovery of 10, which will give you 10 stun back. Now, you could also pause and take a recovery, but later on when we start playing, I will explain the maneuvers to you as we play, and there is not many of them, but once again, knowledge of them will be necessity to keep you all in one piece. Like dodge. Dodge is always your friend. You know, when you're fighting one guy, dodge is usually one of those things you can't go wrong with. Just saying. Because once again, if you're dodging the attack, then your other friends can get to attack. Now, one thing with our little kitty friend here, PU, you know, they're going to keep a lot of people occupied. Because once the character has acrobatics, that will help also with a dodge roll. And once again, PU will draw a lot of enemy fire, and it's going to be hard to hit. It's just if PU gets hit, PU gets hurt. Well, thank you, Smelly. Now, we can do character developmental games of just you and I. You know, the Justice League always wasn't together. And unfortunately, we got the Summer League here. I love you, Summer. I do, honey. No, honey, I love you, but I'm having a movie, sweetie. It hurt me. Yeah, you're hurting me, sweetie. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Summer, sweetie. Now, first thing, because these characters are so much to work on, the first thing I have to do after I get one fixed is hide it from Summer before she destroys it. And we'll get to Pindar's start here in a moment. And my cat's not helping me. Oh, she's a sweetie. She's just kind of like Leticia. It's just a cat. It's okay if it's like Leticia. It's not the responsible person. And she wouldn't even freeze a puppy, would you, honey? See, I just hit the damn thing on the nose. Like I do everything else. So, Pindar. Now, is there anything interesting that you want about your character? Because, like I say, this game is kind of about, or the character creation is literally making what you want. So, at this point, I would like some ideas for some of your powers and abilities. Because I have to try to fit all this into a point allotment. Great. Thank you, Pindar. Thank you. Kitten. Shit. Sorry, everyone. Fucking God. Now, did I accidentally hit anyone banned or anything? Alright. We're gonna play Get the Hell Out of Here. They went over to the shelf again. They said, we're not getting out. They know they got in trouble, so they both went. Not gonna put up with this. Just saying, children. Well, that pencil I was using, just my constant problem with my children. Okay, here's the game book they knocked off. Now, any more drugs? Just saying. Oh, great. No, you're leaving, and you're leaving right the fuck now, cats. No, no, no. They lost my glasses, too. Now my glasses here are gone. And I don't know where they went. The pencil's gone, too. And you are both going out of this room now. But yes, they lost my glasses. They lost the pencil. And I don't know where they've knocked them. And since I'm blind, I can't find either of them. So they pretty screwed this stream up. Because I have no idea where either of them are. Now, remember I said there was two pencils? I found the missing pencil. The other missing pencil. But yes, she has lost my glasses. Now, I will go on with this stream for right now. Well, see, this is the problem with these two. Now, when I'm doing stuff here now, they're competitive for attention. And this is becoming a regular problem here. You know, whenever I'm doing anything, you know, for me, like even getting to dinner, they start this attention competition. And then everything around me gets lost and or destroyed. Like that picture yesterday. And this is like the zillionth time this has happened with the glasses. Of them start up, going around, knocking everything around, trying to position themselves so they can be the closest one to me. I'll find it later, Ronnie. It's just, if I couldn't find a pencil, we were basically done. But that's what I'll be doing as soon as the stream is over. Looking for my glasses, and I know they're here somewhere, so I will find them. Maybe a few minutes, maybe a lot of minutes, we'll see. Well, no, not my glasses. Remember, Richella was coming up around here? Well, my glasses were behind you. Shit. Accidentally bumped that. And now they're gone. So it is what it is. So they have to be around here somewhere. Now, this chair has like a lining on one side that's busted out. So that'll be like a good first place. But it's not where it falls down in the chair. It's where it falls on the floor. Well, maybe with these cats, you know, who knows now. But yes, Pindar, before I got rudely distracted by those two that just do nothing but compete against each other, because that's kind of what my new rule is with them. When they start that competing bullshit, I'm just putting them both out of the room. So you guys are going to start seeing that on my other streams, because I've tried the nice way with them. It's just, no, they're not going to, and I'm not going to scream at them, because we're at that point where everyone else would be screaming at them. I'm just going to grab them and put them out of the room. Unfortunately, it makes it hot in here, but you know, you lose my shirt if I have to. Now, fuck you. I need to feel, like I said, I need to kind of get your character concept of what you want for powers. And then I have to figure out on how I'm going to allot this in points that we are allowed at the beginning. Because Smelly ended up not getting a few of the things that she needed. Put it that way. But those will be what she buys with experience points. So you want armor. Okay. Now, do you want your armor to be magical? That can be very important. Is it regular armor or is it magical armor? Oh, we can do that. But once again, is your armor magical? Because for that, this is going to be very important. Once again, because there is an attack that I will talk about. Now, once again, is your armor normal armor or magical armor? That is, I have to know. Well, it's simple. It's the reason why you have the power. Now, the reason why I say it's important is because in Champions, there is something called a no normal defense attack. And it bypasses your regular defenses. Now, these attacks are stun-only attacks. So it's like saying, I'm Roger the Wizard, and I want to shoot my magic bolt at fuck you. Well, I make my roll on my very power pull, and I decide, you know what? I'm going to hit you with a no normal defense attack. Well, once again, a no normal defense attack has a defense. It's why it's a no normal defense, because it has an unusual defense. So if you run across an attack that is a no normal defense, that magic is the defense, then that's important. So a magical armor could defend you against an attack that's only resistance is magic. Now, that'll be 2. Well, the thing is it affects against stun and killing attacks, which is going to be important because you got a kitty that has killing attacks and has a special disadvantage. Catnip gets your high. Just saying. Now you see, that is one of Smelly's disadvantages. Catnip makes you go all bonkers. Catnip is Smelly Cat's kryptonite. Now, the thing is, there are ways of doing things, of buying powers. Now, you see, you picked armor. Now, it is bought as an object. And there are 4 different ways to buy objects. And we will get into them over time. I don't want to information overload you. But they are basically explaining on how they work, and they are worth a different point set. This case, it is an obvious, inaccessible focus, or an OIF. It's obvious. You can see it. It's armor protecting you. So it's an obvious focus. Now, it's inaccessible because it's on the other guy's body and you just can't pick it up. That's what is meant by accessible. And it's a focus because it's an object. So that means your armor is an obvious, inaccessible focus, or OIF. And you get a bonus point because of the fact that it is a focus. So, here we go. Now, because it's armor and it's not fully, we are going to give it an activation roll. Which in this case, we're going to pick the better activation roll, which is 14 or less. So that means if you get hit with an attack, you get your normal physical and energy defenses, but your armor adds extra defense and also against killing attacks. And that will be on a roll of 14 or less. Now, these two advantages together give us a +1 advantage, which means it's equal to the whole points. So for 10 points, we can get 20 points of effect. So here we get +10 PD, +10 ED, armor magical. Or just put armor magic. And because it's a focus, it doesn't cost you anything. And I actually bought this armor as force field. And another reason why I bought it as force field, you remember those no normal defense attacks I told you about? If one of those is force field, well, then your armor is going to protect you against any no normal defense attack that is force field resistance or a magic one. So that means if the resistance is force field or magic, you know, it isn't going to affect you at all, that no normal defense attack. It'll just be like water spraying off of you. Yes. And then this is the way how that defense works. Now, how strong do you want to be? 20 is maximum human. So like, what, you know, in example, what do you want your maximum capability to be? Now, in Champion's term, they said a 20 strength would be like lifting a motorcycle. You know, a 30, you know, will you consider something heavier? 40, a small car. You know, a 50, you know, you're doing a big one. Now, if you've got a 60 strength, you're juggling dump trucks. Yes, well, see, this is why you have the most capability. I mean, your character origin can literally be anything. So where Smelly had the limitation of, we have this cat person we're creating, you know, you get a whole world behind you. I mean, you get the full deal. Your powers could literally be anything. We just have to figure out how you got them and what theme they are. And I have an idea here too. Let me figure up the point cost in this. Cost 60 points. Okay. Yes, it is. Now, I've decided, because you wanted clerical powers, it will have to require huge amounts of variety. So you remember in my last session here, we talked about the multi-vary power pool. So this is what I have just now given you. For 60 points, I gave you a 40-point multi-vary power pool. So, once again, I would prefer an experienced player to have this, but the fact of the matter is, because of you want clerical powers, so basically what you will have to do is you'll have to tell me what clerical effect that you want to create with your powers. And you will also have a skill roll on that pool. So basically, if you decide I'm going to heal, you would roll your skill roll, and then you switched your power to healing. and then you could heal. And then if you decide that you want to use a smite spell, you know, you have to roll your skill again and switch it. If you kind of understand what I'm saying. Well, actually, Pindar, you get to pick it. See, this is the thing about champions in this no-roll system. You get the ultimate character creation. You get exactly what you want. Before you got here, we sat down with questions, and we pinned down what Smelly wanted. And we used her powers, her characteristics, and her disadvantages together to create a unique super being. But literally, because you went with an exotic origin, much like Superman, you get to pick everything. I mean, that's why I was saying that we'll have to have talks about your character, because literally anything, it's just you and I have to establish canon before it gets into the game. I'm sure you understand that. Now, with limitations, I'm going ahead and figuring out some characteristics that are going to be have-tos. Kind of not want-tos, but have-tos. You've got a good endurance, you've got a good stun. And I basically have your characteristics done. A 30 strength, a 20 dexterity, a 30 constitution, a 20 body, and now body is how many hit points you have. Your intelligence is 10, your ego is 25. So in reality, your character is going to be very good with mental effects. You know, as a part of your clerical whatevers. And that will help you with your magic. Well, with these effects, this is what you're really good at doing. Now, I gotta add some points to see where we stand here. 30, 40, 50. Ew. Ew! Wow. Hold on. Ugly. 75. Well, Roger. Oh, just a moment. I think we've hit maximum already. Yes, you know, when I was figuring this, remember I said we were getting close enough I had to kind of figure out some have-tos? Yes, I think that if my math is correct, and I'm very sure it is, we already hit maximum on your character. Which that kind of, now, yes, you have your magical paladin like abilities, or whatever you want them to be. The magic pool is what your imagination. So you get to create your own version of what this race's version of this type of character would be. But right there you got infinite. Well, I wanted to give you a hand weapon. Now, where we talked about Smelly, the first thing to buy, when you come through the dimension, you lose your favorite weapon. Now, this is a part of your story because we can't afford it. But when you can afford to buy your weapon with your experience, it can be whatever you want. You know, just save a... We're considering it as a lost item right now, you know, as game. But yes, when you have the points to pay for it, you know, you get to create your cherry item. Well, we'll pay for it, because actually that costs 10 points. We'll have to buy your tail. But for the game purposes, we're going to consider that you have your tail, but you're not going to whack anyone with it. until you get 10 points to spend. But yes, you will be able to use your tail in the future once we pay for your tail. Okay, now disadvantage, reptilian, that would be 20 points. Being reptilian in a human world. Reputation, not human. You know, humans tend to react to that. You're going to hate this one. Hunted by conspiracy theorists on an 8 or less. Remember humanity and all their crazy stuff about lizard people and the Illuminati? Yes, you're going to have the occasional annoying normal that will be following you around trying to gain the secrets of the lizard people. Now, let me see, 20, 40, 60, 70. Okay, we need 80 more points. Now, the thing is like Superman has the Joker. Now, hunted is a disadvantage. Now, I gave you a funny hunted. Because he is a game master, this way I can have these crazy asses show up. And occasionally, you know, the supervillain will grab one of them occasionally. Occasionally, they will be fun, and occasionally Smelly might kill them, or you have to stop Smelly from killing them because she's a very kitty. You know, just being silly, but yeah, if you want to come up with a nemesis, you know, how did you get to this world? And once again, now the thing is with your very pull here, your magic could have got you here. You know, to go through dimensions, because that is like a 20 to 40 point effect, depending on how you want it to be. You know, like a gate that you could walk through, like yourself would be like 20 points. But if you wanted like a gate to where you could have everyone walk through. And in reality, with your powers here in creating that gate yourself, you will be able to take characters from our Earth and adventure in your original world. And that's one reason why we'll come up with the canon of your world, just me and you, and then you can have an adventure in this world of nothing but your imagination. We just have to figure what its canon is, set it in stone, and then we go from there. So yes, you have to think, do you want an enemy? Do you want your own Dr. Doom? Now, once Ben being a lizard person, maybe it's another lizard person. Maybe it's another race that your lizard people fight. It's all up to your imagination. This is how you can use your character disadvantages and the points you get for to create unique things. So yeah, you know, that's kind of where we're at now. And there's no hurry. You know, this channel right here, doing these things, it's just a bullshit session. And where else is everything else that cat knocked off? And apparently she got my lighter too. That sucks because they got my other one yesterday. And I think it's kind of like the end of the lighters. Now, fortunately, someone will be here in the morning to take me to go buy a lighter. So, I love my kitties. Tiny furry assholes. So, I guess I'll just set that over here. And while I look, I know where it is. It's with my glasses. Yes, no doubt my lighter is with my glasses. Now you can see why I had to put them out. Because, as I said, this attention competition that they've got to be has gotten to be absolutely destructive. I love my kitties. And while you think of a nemesis, I'm going to kind of look around here and see if I see my glasses or my lighter. Let's see. Well, the pipe was right here next to me, and now all of a sudden, it's not. It's not in the cushion. But yeah, I thought I did too. But obviously it was next to my glasses, because they're both all of a sudden gone. Yep, right there. Oh, let's sigh. Now I had some dead lighters over here. And move them. Damn. Don't you hate it when you remember? Oh yeah. Yeah, I picked that up. Maybe I can make this work. This sucks to do, by the way. It's got a shotgun hole in it. Now, funny thing is, you guys don't know, but when I was on panel with Nicolina, I was smoking out of this. And this is what I was having to do on panel. I was having to hold the phone like this, and I was taking my knee like this to cover the shotgun hole and doing this. Except I had a lighter that worked. And yeah, that entire time while I was on panel with Nicolina, that's how I was getting high. Well, that's all I needed was a little hit. Because I was down to my last joint. Which you can imagine Leticia and Letity. Oh my God, down to the last joint. And I saved it for this, you know. You know. But yeah, it's just, you know, idly think about your nemesis. You know, once again, you know, it could be your same race. It could be another race. But whatever your nemesis is, it's likely that they're one of the reasons why you're interested in Earth. Yeah, they lost my glasses good. I got a little cubby over here. I'm going to start putting my glasses there. Well, that's actually possible. Now, in reality, there could be a human-like creature on your world. Now, that is another thing that's done regularly is, you know, the humans be the inhuman one. So, yeah, I mean, if you wanted to, now, you could also have this being not of your world. So, in reality, you know, like I say, many times in Champions, you can go with some of these things. Now, you can always pull back and think of something else, but, for example, this Cruella de Vil creature could be a sorceress from another world. Or, it could be a sorceress from Earth that's causing trouble in your world. See, this is, like I say, where you can get what you want. Yes, Pindar, you can. You know, we don't have to balance your character sheets right now. You can sleep on it all you want. And that's the wonder of Champions, because, you know, I just consider the disadvantages there, and we'll develop them later, because once again, you're going to have the most complex story. Now, excuse me, Smelly decided that she's going to turn into the kitty, excuse me, and not just be Kitty all the time. Now, Smelly, let me hit you up with a fact. You know there are a ton of different wares that are not popularly known. And one of them is an alloranthrope. And that's a cat ware. Yes, that is a ware. And a cat is an allurian. So it's an alloranthrope. So, you know, if you want it to be an actual lycanthropy, you can. You know, if you want to go that way with it, you're allowed to. Now, the reason why you turn back and forth to the kitty can be whatever you want. I was just throwing you out there something I know of. And if that's the point, you know, we're just kind of chatting now. Now, I did kind of expect Rachel in here, but she must be spending time with her lovely loved one. And in reality, she's got light powers. And that's going to be the simplest write-up. I'll just have to go through the whole disadvantage thing. And she gets to make her origin. And once again, from your background parts of your origin, I will create the world. Just like DC and Marvel did. And then I'll add more stuff. And like I say, I already have some enemies for you to fight. And this hero bestiary gives me stats for, you know, your typical things like elementals. You know, earth, air, fire, and water. Gnomes. Leprechauns. Even genies. Mountain giants. Giant insect creatures. And this is also something that I'm thinking is a game master offhand that would be good for Pindar's place. You know, if she decides to have multiple races on her planet, you know, these insect guys, you know, they have how do all they have is just bees and wasps. And they also have some over here for ant-like people. So basically your ground insect people and your flying insect people. And those are possibilities. Now, right over here, I've got a write-up for a giant lizard. Now, well, yeah, Pindar, like I say, there's things that we can talk about and add these unique things in the world. Like in reality, this giant lizard here, it'd be a badass mount. I mean, it's got a 50 strength. I mean, that's what typically your strongman strength is. And it is built on 243 points. And divide that by 5. So, like, say for 50 points, actually like 51 and a half, but we're just going to round it. But yeah, say like for 50 points, your character could buy this giant lizard. And then your character could have a companion mount. And he's tough as many superheroes. Now, once again, he's strong and he's got a small killing attack. In reality, Smelly would eat him for dinner. But the fact of the matter is that strength he's got is like a car hitting a human being at 50 miles an hour. You know, to kind of give you an idea. And to kind of give you an idea, if you were to shoot a force bolt and hit someone with your magic pole, you would hit them like a car at 40 miles per hour. So, yeah, I'm just showing that, you know, in this book, I have things that we can flesh out your world with. Now, these are made to be monsters for a fantasy thing to fight, but like the reptilian things, we can work them as an aspect of your worlds. Like the dragons and the greater dragons. They have lesser dragons wrote up here and greater dragons. They have wyverns wrote up. Like I say, they have a large variety of life wrote up. And some of these reptilian things in here, you know, we can pull out. They even have ghouls. You know, your typical undead stuff. You know, they even have your ghouls wrote up for champions. So like I say, I'm going to... Now here's a cloud giant, a fire giant, a forest giant, a frost giant, a mountain giant, a storm giant. There's cloth golems, flesh golems, glass golems, ice golems, paper golems, stone golems, wood golems, gremlins, gorgons, griffins, harpies, hellhounds, hippocampus, homunculus, imps, hydras. Now see the hydra? That will be a good one to add for your world. And a hydra's built on 342 points. So he's almost 100 points tougher than you guys are as starting superheroes. Now his strength hits like a car at 55 miles an hour. Ew. Wow. He has a +4 speed to bite. Now fortunately, he would have a -2 to hit Smelly, but that bite is faster than Smelly Cat, and Smelly Cat is made to be a fast person. So that aspect of this Hydra monster is extremely horrid. Now here I have a write-up for Hordlings, which is your typical minions from hell. Imps, here's the insects we talk about. You remember the bullet from D&D? Land shark, kelpies, knockers, and here's our giant lizard. Manticores, minotaurs, all the different liquid monsters, you know, the puddings. They got them all of all different colors. Mummies, giant octopus, ogres, Anka, Pegasus, phoenix, giant rat, rock, satyrs, salamanders. Now that will be another one for your world. You know, the fire-breathing salamanders. Now, like, see the harpy and the siren? I can make those reptilian versions in your world. And in reality, the harpy is supposed to be a little bit like reptilian scaled, even though she is supposed to be a bird creature. And I even have a giant snake write-up. And this giant snake has got 2 levels of growth. So 6 times 2 is 12. That means, you know, like that snake in Conan, the first one that they killed? That's what this would be. We have a sphinx. We have a succubus. We have trolls, unicorns, different forms of vampires, wendigos, all the different were creatures. Now, looking through this, one of your villain groups, I'm going to make were people. Because they have were bears, were boars, were rats, were tigers, werewolves, and were something else. But they got like 5, oh yeah, were rat. They got 5 different wares, so I'm going to create a were supervillain team. You know, because they're low-powered guys, and they will be good early throwaway villains for you. You know, someone to fight when you're lower powered that isn't going to be, you know, when you're higher powered, I really wouldn't want to use them except just to have them show up so you can see how powerful your character's got and wipe the floor with them. And then here's a wyvern write-up. And see, that will be another creature that will be indigenous to your world. So, like we've already decided, bugs and lizards are in your world. And maybe even cruel wizards, or something like a wizard. It depends on what your imagination for your nemesis ends up. And you can change it however you want, and we come at this again. They have yetis, they have zombies. Now, they also have dinosaurs. Remember how I talked about your world? I got reflexes. I need to blow with the nose real quick. But yes, I have dinosaur write-ups right here for all the major dinosaurs. So if you want in your world, dinosaurs can be your regular animals. Once again, all up to you. And that's the fun thing, is you get to create the custom background world you want. Now, another cute thing that people like is I have regular animal write-ups. For a collie, A collie has 17 stun, by the way, and 5 body. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Smith, yeah, you're going to have to not go Letitia on all the dogs on us, just saying. But they've got a stat for a Scottish Terrier. The Scottish Terrier has 8 stun, by the way, and 4 body. Now they got stats over here for a dolphin and eagles and, like I say, but an African elephant. You know, anything that you would imagine, gorillas, giraffes, hyenas. Now, the thing is, now Smelly, an interesting thing, you see some of these animals? Now, your guy, I'm going to give him some hyena. Yes. Remember where we decided to make your nemesis? He's going to have his, instead of attack dogs, he's going to have a group of attack hyenas. So like I say, this is going to be very comic book. Now, once again, this is going to be R-rated adult comic book. And, you know, not just your G-rated Marvel stuff. Well, that will be fun. But you see, also, like, as a character, you know, against jackals, you know, the kitty can use her claws as much as she wants. In reality, a jackal stands very little chance against you. It's just, yeah, I have to think like a supervillain. It's something the supervillain would do. And they're just basically things to distract you with. You know, being a big game hunter, you know, he'll likely have a net gun. He'll likely have a gun. And once again, as a villain, the hyenas are just to keep you occupied. Because you're going to be quicker than he is. So, you know, if it was just one-on-one on quickness, you got him every time. But, once again, a big game hunter is going to cheat. And one of his ways he's going to cheat with you is with his minions. Which, you know, rather than stupid guys in clown outfits, you know, his guys are going to be literal jackals. Or hyenas. Well, you know how it is. Well, like I say, Pindar has created where, you know, there's no limits to her imagination. Just saying. There's only limits to how many points she's going to get at the beginning, which is 250. Now, a thing about a supervillain can buy mastermind. And that means they get their equal amounts in points. So, say that I am a 450-point supervillain, and I have a mastermind. I get 450 points of evil goodies. Now, example here. We have a demon lord. This demon lord points is 1,176. He would kill you all, by the way, with very little problems. But, you know, just to use this as a example, divide by 5, so we'd have 2, 3, 3. For 234 points, he could get a demon lord as a part of his mastermind. So, like I say, my 450 point character, you guys could probably wipe the floor with pretty easy together. But a supervillain with a mastermind can spend his points to bring in for an adventure some unusual things, like a demon lord, that you couldn't handle. Now, as a game master, I'm never going to do that to you, but there's going to come a time that you guys are in this league. You know, Spider-Man didn't start out with all the points he has, and after a while, you know, people started fighting the Hulk. Now, we're going to also make silly people. Now, this is something I wanted players for. Do we want parody heroes and villains? If you do, put 1 in the chat. And those will be just some random heroes and villains that will be kind of knockoffs of real things, but done in a different way. Example, like the Hulk. Now, the Hulk's concept is the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. Now, Pindar, you're going to laugh at this, and please don't be drinking. You'll hurt yourself. Now, my silly way to change that is instead of Hulk, Hunk. Now, imagine if the accident made a man with super strength and dumb as a rock. And the hornier he gets, the stronger he gets. And this character would always have some kind of female in the background as a dependent NPC manipulating them. And once again, that is a stupid way. So instead of a raging brute, you'd have this a goddess-like god with the intellect of a thumb, but always would have some sort of dependent. So this is what I mean by parody characters. You know, they're not going to be green and like the Hulk, but, you know, they'll have a similar flavor, you know, like this Hunk concept. You know, Hunk smash. But when he means smash, he means a different thing. And once again, he's going to be easily manipulatable, highly volatile, and stupid as hell. Enough to where he'll be danger to himself and everyone else around him. But instead of a monster, it's going to be the ultimate hot guy with the ultimate strength and the brain power of a pea. See, that's also kind of a joke because, you know, there's some ladies that is their ideal man. You know, they would like all these things out of them. Easily manipulatable, strongest man in the world, gorgeous, but the brain of a pea. So yes, is that something you would be interested in, parody characters? Because later on, you know, I want to flesh out the world. And that would be one way to do it. Because certain niches, just like in evolution, have to be filled. You know, like Superman is the strongest guy in DC. Hulk is the strongest guy in Marvel. If I was to create this character, he would, quote, be our version of who is the strongest guy. Okay, good. Well, see, once again, this is what we're doing, is we're creating a campaign world together, so this campaign world will be just what we want. It will be a reflection of us, our characters in the game. And this is the thing about Champions that makes it loved. Most people didn't know about it. Most people didn't play it. Very few understood it. But those that did fell in love with the game. You know, my players all the time would blow off our D&D to play Champions. And it's quick put up, it's quick put down, it's easy for the characters with a few abilities. You know, supervillain robs bank, you stop supervillain. You know, the game session, if you don't have much time, can be that simple. No, Pindar, evidently not. But I did intend on putting this on my tab, and I forgot. Now, Rachel was in Nicolina's live earlier, so she might have went over there, and which if I wasn't, you know, I probably figure she's over by now, but, you know, that's where I would have been if I wasn't here. But I'm going to commit to Wednesdays and Sundays here. You know, so we'll see. Now, all the time the Wednesday might not happen, so, you know, we'll see, but that is my plan so far, is to keep Wednesdays and Sundays on this channel, because, well, that's where she might be, and that's where I'd be. But you know what? I really need a diversion from the drama, so that's why Wednesdays and Sundays, I am going to lead a diversion from it all. And I've got Rachel on Instagram, and once again, her character is utterly simple. It's just a simple multi-power pool, and real easy, mostly just above human statistics. Now, once again, if she gets experience, she could become the most powerful person. Now, the whole thing with her is going to be like you guys, you know, developing out your origins and disadvantages. Because, you know, I'm not immediately throwing mutants in, but if a character decides that they want to be a mutant, you know, you'll get all of the X-Men style stuff in the background. That's another reason why I asked, did you want parody characters? And that's why I started with Hunk. Now, I will create our own version of Captain America. You know, maybe Captain USA or something like that. You know, something with a similar flavor. Now, I probably won't pick World War II Captain, you know, style stuff. You know, I'll pick something more modern. Or I might give that character a ghost origin. Now that would be nice because once again I'm trying to not make too many things like super government agencies in the beginning. So that could be an idea. Say in 1776 there was a soldier in the Revolutionary War that died, and he goes around from war to war possessing a soldier and becoming a great hero. I kind of like that. So yes, that might be my version of, you know, Captain America. It's just he's going to have a different name. And the ghost will go around and, you know, possess a dying soldier on the battlefield, and then all of a sudden he will become a new person with a new super name. And this is how I'm saying that, you know, I'm not going to take direct rip-offs. I'm just going to have flavors. And this is what this guy will be, you know, since we decided to do it. It's just, I was high really one night and like, how would you rework the Hulk and do it the same but different? And that's what I came up with, was Hunk. You know, Hunk smash! So, you know, I will create Hunk, and he's going to have, but you see where Nicolina wanted to create a character with emotion control. So this will also be something, an aspect. Now, as a game master, it will also give me a valve that if you guys were ever to get into too much trouble, that once again, Nicolina's character would be able to manipulate Hunk. Well, actually, yeah, this book right here, it's got lesser and greater vampire write-ups. I just have to add and you remember over here, I've got all of the stuff for World War II. I can easily just give them the Champions Golden Age stuff, the World War II gear, and throw them on the vampires. That's why I'm saying this system is generic, but with it, you can literally get exactly what you want, how you want. And it's sad that it didn't become a really big thing. But, you know, we're going to enjoy it. Now, they did keep changing the system, and they destroyed the game. Because they kept wanting to make new rules and make more money by selling the same books over and over again. And that was really the downfall of the game. But its first edition, with some of the supplementary rules as they came in, it's just perfect. But yes, Pindar, you know, like I said, that's all when are capable to do's. And I could even make him a werewolf on top of it, you know, to explain why he's still here. But like I say, werewolves and vampires, you can have Nazi werewolves fighting Nazi vampires. Like I say, in this, it is completely sky's the limit, just like a comic book universe. You could fight mole people one week, and you could be fighting aliens from Uranus the next day. And we didn't even know Uranus had aliens. So, you know, this is going to be fun. Like I say, this is the ultimate variety. And we're starting a brand new, fresh universe. And I'll just literally create fresh characters for it. And it will be a unique comic book superworld. And you, Smelly, Nicolina, and Rachel are going to be the first 4 super people. Well, that player super people. Now, I might have a couple super people that I will make up as we mentioned, some background people, so we don't have to role play the emergence of super beings. But yes, this is always what I wanted to do. a channel where I tell stories and we have an interactive experience. So in reality, you know, like Smelly's ready to go. I mean, Smelly's character right now can be played. Now I'm going to, when my hand, now, I don't show this on the other channel, but where my hands tremble, it's why I didn't get back to everyone on Instagram. I burnt the fuck out of myself. And that was getting my fish out of the oven, because now and then my hands will just start to tremble. Usually when I'm trying to do something delicate, like play with Instagram. And yeah, I'm not sure you can see it, but yeah, I burnt it. Well, let me see if I can get a light on it. Yeah, I burnt the fuck out of that. But my hand was just trembling and hit the top of the oven. So, you know, once again, I'm not going to show that on the other channel. Well, it's one of those things that happen. But, you know, it's one of the reasons why I decided, after I said I was going to do this, be a message, then to not. Because my hands really have not been my friends. They've been pretty good. It's just, like today, they've not been my friends. Because I was going to go ahead and write up the character sheets already and just have them filled in. But when I went to do that earlier today, my hands decided that I wasn't going to do that. Well, mine is spotty. It kind of has its it has its moods. But yeah, I burnt the fuck out of myself. And once again, because of the trolls, I'm not going to show that on the other channel. But I wanted you to know sometimes why I don't get right back to people on messages. Because sometimes I start to, and I realize that, well, we're just going to have to do this later. I used to have one, but we're going to require a bunch of work if it was to ever work again. It was the one I used to use for World of Warcraft. It was made to game for like World of Warcraft or EverQuest. But it'll probably never work again. And I'm sure the battery in it is long dead. I've got it out in the barn hidden. Because of the way the thieves are here, I do. I have it out in the barn hidden, but for about $400, it could probably be made to do again. But once again, you can get something cheap that isn't a gaming system, you know, cheaper than that. But, you know, at the time when I got it, this was before seizures ages ago, and it was like a $1,200 brand new laptop. You know, that was made to play games with. You know, with the graphics card and all that. And it was an Asus. And like I say, it needs some viruses off of it, a keyboard fixed, a new battery, and, you know, it would probably be usable. But once again, it would require about $400 or more work into it. And it might be bad enough at this time to where it's not even worth doing that. So, I'm not going to worry about online gaming no more. We are just going to game here the old-fashioned way with pencils, paper, dice, and our imagination as Gary Gygax intended. Now, once again, you can also come up with villain concepts to me, and we will create supervillains just for you guys. Remember I said we can have hunteds? Well, later on in the game, if you come up with a good idea for a bad guy, you know, we can just get together and create bad guys. In fact, this is one thing that me and my friends used to do, like on just a bullshit day. We would just get high together and create supervillains. And that was just a fun thing to do together. You know, someone would get a concept and then we'd all work together and come up with unique people to fight. So, you know, that's another thing that sometimes we're going to do. Now, once again, later on in the game, far, far future, you know, I'll open up playing bad guys. But, you know, of course, the bad guys are rarely going to win because they're going to have their goals and most organizations on the earth are going to stop them. You know, unless it's just grab Mary Jane and drag her into the sewers. Why am I thinking Adrastea? I mean, now this is what sucks about being a hero. Now, can you imagine the grim realism? It's like if you saw Adrastea grabbed and being dragged into the sewer, what do? Which one do you save? Do you save the bog monster? Or do you save Adrastea from the bog monster? Or do you save the bog monster from Adrastea? I don't know. Now, your character can have dependent NPCs, and they are typically normals that you have to protect. Like Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane are dependents of Superman. Alfred the Butler is the dependent of Batman. Now, Robin is a sidekick. Now, you know that Champions book over here that's World War II? They give rules to create sidekicks. So at some point, if your characters get a lot of points and you want to kind of use them for something interesting, you can buy a sidekick. And that will be an option. So, that'll be something for you to think about for months and months. If you ever want a sidekick, you can get one. And especially actually, thinking about it, I only had one girlfriend ever play Champions, and that was when I was about 19. But yes, you can buy sidekicks, and that'll be something you can do with your points. Now, first thing you're going to have to do is buy a tail. Just say it. Now, see, this is kind of the funny things. Once you're an experienced Champions person, you laugh about it. Now, I told you I got this Predator write-up over here, but before that was created, my friend Paul made up his first character all on his own. After a couple years of playing. I mean, he did it perfect too. He just forgot one thing. He handed it over me for inspection, and he was proud. And I went down it, and it was amazing. He got everything right. He just forgot to give his Predator any stealth skills. So he had an alien hunter that had, now he could turn invisible, but he had absolutely no stealth skills whatsoever. So yes, he was the least sneaky predator that ever existed. All the rest of the predators made fun of him. And it was funny because when I pointed it out and he started playing, because he could have just simply changed it on the sheet, but instead he decided that he was going to play the least stealthy predator, and everyone knew where he was at all the time, and he kept going, "Ow! Ow! Ow!" and drawing attention to himself at every chance. Once again, that was the player just being silly because he wanted to. That was Paul's way of making fun of himself. So, that's just to give you an example. And I mean, he did too. That character is perfect. Perfectly balanced. All of the focuses were the right things. And occasionally I have to think exactly, okay, it would be this one. I mean, for a person on a first attempt doing a complex character, it was perfect. He just forgot stealth and concealment. So like I said, that's funny. And on this book over here, I have all of the write-ups for Predator and Aliens. So one thing that we will do in the beginning is we will do some movie stuff. Oh, shit. Damn. This is weird. I actually have a weird scenario possibility. Now, as a game master, I don't know. But they have the stats here for a great white shark. we could actually reenact Jaws with superheroes. Yep, we sure could. Yep. Yep, definitely we could reenact Jaws. I didn't realize that was there, but they got walrus write-ups, and now, hold on, no. Oh, okay, smelly person. A tiger costs 233 points. So to give you an example, you are 17 points tougher than a tiger. But, let me see, divide that by 5. We have a 4, 6. For 47 points, you could get a tiger as a sidekick. You know, just to show you on some of the things later that you can spend on. Yes, you know, for 47 points, you could get a tiger. So like I say now, like here, they even got the stats for a school of piranha. Yee. Smelly, do not get in the water with piranha. Just saying. You know, looking at their stats. Yee. Yes. Unless you got armor or regeneration, do never get in with piranha. Yee. Because unless you got some sort of special defenses, you're in the land of the fucked. Everyone is. Well, possibly. Now, let me go over here. Now, remember where I said those insect people were? One of them would be the equivalent of a mantis write-up for a giant mantis. Yeah, because the giant non-flying insects. But a mantis is going to be a flying one. But I would use the non-flying insect body type and give it flying. Because it's much stronger, much more like a giant mantis. And, okay, where's your point totals? Oh, I see what they've done. Okay, they've done it for different type of insects. So that would be more equal to that. So it would be scorpion, that would be spider. Now, it looks like to me the mantis would have similar abilities to the scorpions, but instead of a sting, you know, it would be their natural attributes. So, actually, probably more towards the beetle. Huh. This is looking pretty affordable. I'm just triple checking myself, and I'm doing the math in my head. Because they've got various packages here, and I'm having to add like 3 or 4 totals. And I kind of feel like my figures should be wrong, but when I go over them, they keep being right. 157 total. So, you know, with 5, that would be 33 points. And you could have big super killy mantis. That's cheaper than the tiger. That's why I kept going over this. Because I'm like, shouldn't that be more expensive than the tiger? But no, super giant killy mantis that you could ride would actually be cheaper than the Tiger. So yeah, like I said, kept thinking that has to be wrong, but in reality, the mantis would be more effective in combat. Now, I'm sure that a cat riding a mantis is interesting, but then we do have someone that comes from an insect world. Well, I buy their flight. In reality, if I want to, I could spend 20 on flight to get 10 foot more. I could add 15 more points, and the damn thing could go faster than light. Yes, for 20, it'd be 50, it'd be 15, and then the 30. Yes, for 45 points, I can make that mantis fly faster than light, outside of Earth's atmosphere. Now, if it doesn't have life support, it's going to die, or it's going to have to go in between really quick. I think the Tiger is a little faster, but overall, I do believe that the mantis is more of a dangerous opponent. Well, it'll fly, because once more, I like transportation, and considering that your group is probably not going to be heavy in transportation, and this game is about what you want. And now, once again, we'll have to find game ways of how you get this, but like I say, Pindar is from a world that has alien creatures on it. So, that sounds like a good place where your alien mantis comes from. And also with Pindar's clerical power, she can open up doors back and forth to that world. So that is going to explain where you get your mantis. And once again, Pindar, now you get to create the name of your world. And it will be forever in our lexicon. Like Krypton in DC, you get to name your world. And we get to live with it. Well, Pindar, that fits in with, I don't have the champion supplement here, but champions in 3D. If you roll on the dice for random dimensions, that's kind of stuff that can happen. If you roll a 1 to 4, it's like human on one of the tables. And then if it's a 5 to 6, it's something not human. And once again, they can have parallel cultures, just like what you have picked. In reality, your world could have been rolled randomly in a champion supplement. And some of them I do have rolled that way. Because to refamiliarize myself with it, I rolled some worlds and wrote them down. And once again, because you're going to have that ability, you are going to have the ability to travel to other worlds besides Earth. So that will also give up a large amount of open to weird adventures. Now, probably, I will also have, because Nicolina, depending on her origin, her character might be related to the government. It will depend on what she wants. But once again, she gets to pick whatever she wants in her imagination. And if at some point there's no one with an official tie to someone, I might create a non-player character that is. Because you have a Catwoman in an alien lizard person. Or a cat guy, or a cat somebody or another. But yes, you're not, you can play either genders that you want with your characters. Just saying. Matter of fact, you can even make up genders. Because after all, especially your alien. And you never know how many gender superheroes have. I mean, has anyone ever really seen what's in Superman's pants? Just saying. You know, he may have a cooter for all we know. Well, the thing is, Billy, for 20 points, Pindar can just teleport her character through dimensions. For that full 40-point pull, she can make a 1 hex area gate, and everyone can walk through it. And once again, that other supplement I have somewhere, you can travel to other worlds. Now, on that random table, they even have the possibility of movie universes. So, you know, you could, if you roll that, I have to pick a movie. And then all of a sudden, you're in that universe. Like, for example, you roll that on that table, you could end up in Star Wars. You could end up in Dune. You could end up in Avengers Endgame fighting Thanos. Just saying. And that might be interesting. Now, once again, when you get to be powerful superheroes, I can write up alternate versions of the Marvel superheroes, and then you cross universe and fight the MCU. But of course, that would be something to do later in your careers after you've been playing for several or 8 months and have lots of experience points. Oh yeah, I've got a big shark guy's right up over here too. I can too. I could even give him wind powers and literally make a shark that can create tornadoes. Now see, there's a fucking up idea. Is a shark wizard that creates tornadoes. An aeromancer. Like I said, with champions you can do anything you can imagine. We just have to write it up using limitations and effects. Now, is there anything anyone to bullshit or questions? Because, you know, we're kind of fresh here. You know, we got, you know, Pindar's going to be thinking on her character. We've got basic statistics done. You know, Pindar has tons. Now, that's the cool thing for Pindar is Pindar has a complete ability to make anything in her background. In Smelly, you get to figure out what your secret identity is, what you do for a living. You even get to pick your friends. And if you chose them as dependents, you would have got points for them. Excuse me. But a friend don't have to appear in a scenario. Now, if you buy someone that's worth points, then every game it's rolled. Are they going to show up this time or not? And many times, unless you've dealt with your hunted, that's how your hunted is. Now, once again, when Smelly, when you're out with your super friends, you know, your hunted shows up, you know, he's going to think twice about jumping everyone, but he might spy on you. You know, your hunted might not just attack you. You know, if your hunted shows up, he could be there spying on you, trying to set you up, hoping you'll get knocked out, then he can abduct you. Like I say, and a hunter doesn't always have to come up like Ernie and say, I'm a skip tracer and I'm tracing your skip. Like I say, you know, a hunter can do whatever his nefarious plan is. Yes, Pindar. You know, Superman, to help pay for all of his points, he picked Lois Lane as his main dependent, NPC. And she's probably worth about 25 points. Jimmy Olsen has a lesser role, and he's probably a 15 point. So Superman has 40 points in dependent non-player characters. Now, once again, you could add Perry White to that and add him in for another 10. And Superman would have 50 points. But every game, I would have to roll each for the NPC. You know, is Lois involved in this scenario? Is Jimmy Olsen involved in this scenario? Is Perry White involved in this scenario? And that's how that kind of thing would work. But yes, someone that wanted to be really annoyed could pick a ton of these. Now, once again, when you pick a disadvantage more than twice, it gets worth less points. So, you could eventually get a dependent NPC only worth 1. But, that's just an example. And like I say, hunteds tend to be big points. But those are usually meant to be your nemesis. Now, it's like the X-Men. Their nemesis is whoever's controlling the giant mutant hunting robots of the day. Now, they also have a Magneto hunted. And evidently Magneto in the MCU is a 14 or less. Just saying. And the giant robots are like an 8 or less. Now, once again, we are going to have our regular political people are going to exist in our world, but we're also going to have fantasy people. And we will have fantasy corporations and all of that stuff that normally builds up into a Marvel-style universe. Once again, Ant-Man was fighting evil corporations. And eventually we will develop our own evil corporations. But yes, Smelly, you have to figure out how you got your powers and just the background stuff of yourself. And it's whatever you want it to be. Well, Smelly, now, one other thing you can do is buy perks. Like, say, for 20 points, you can get wealth like Bruce Wayne. That is a perk. You can pick wealth as a perk. So like I say, if you wanted to be as rich as Bruce Wayne, it'd cost you 20 points. We got a warning. We're going to be dead battery here in a minute. If you wanted wealthy, but not Bruce Wayne wealthy, maybe 10 points. If you wanted to be upper middle class secure, that'd be about 5 points. So that's something else that you can buy with your character. So everyone, this device is about to die on us. So we have our time limit warning for this session. So we did great. You guys kind of understand what's going on. And like I said, there is no limits to your imagination here. Now everyone, thank you for coming. And we will be back here on Sunday night and get more stuff done. And thank you for coming. And now I can let the cats in.